afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, August 29th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. All the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. Pam Wilson. Our minds are so full of so many stories about what reality is about. Our minds live in a sea of beliefs and illusions that they imprint on ourselves and everyone in the universe. When we look deep into our minds and what it's telling us, we might see that it's actually fabricating lies about everything. And believe it or not, our minds lie to us continuously. They may say one thing about ourselves or another person in one moment, and then the next they say a complete opposite, believing that this is now true. The mind is a perpetual swinging pendulum of contradictions. All it can offer us is opposing beliefs and desires. If we are patient and conscious enough, we will notice how these opposing thoughts each come to the surface to be born and eventually fall away like everything in this universe. The more we become attached to what our mind says is true, the more lost, confused, and miserable we become. The level of suffering we are currently in right now shows us exactly how deeply we are attached to our thoughts. And this attachment to thoughts is the mechanics of what problems are. This attachment to thoughts is the mechanics of what problems are. Our problems are a product of clinging to one extreme of the pendulum. We believe we are not worthy, lovable, smart enough, or deserving, and we spend the remainder of our lives in unconscious attempts to prove the opposite is true. One of the greatest lies that our minds have ever told us is that we are a separate human being who is disconnected from everyone else. That's the greatest lie the mind has ever told us. Many of us try to disprove this deep lie and begin craving a deep, intimate relationship with another human being. Then we can say to ourselves, I'm not alone anymore. I'm with this person, and they are with me. We are together now. The mind tends to portray this fantasy picture that we are with the other now and no longer alone. It says now that we are together, connected in unity with another person. The bigger truth is that consciousness itself has no ownership. The mind is a limited container that cannot find freedom or peace with problems. Only consciousness has the infinite capacity to find real freedom and peace. There is just no way to be in a solid, healthy, long-term relationship without getting into an eternal loop of emotional drama and egotistical pain unless this realization is found and lived out. The greatest illusion, however, is that we were never completely separate beings in the first place. Sure, our physical bodies are in a separate space than our physical body. So it's like your physical body is in a separate space than your physical body. Yet this is just scratching the surface. Underneath, we are one consciousness connected to each other. The illusion of being a separate human being is the greatest illusion in humanity that perpetuates all human suffering. The real truth is, the bigger the truth, the real truth is the bigger truth, which is that there is one self, one God source, hidden behind it all, and you are that. The universe is saying, allow me to flow through you unrestricted, and you will see the greatest magic you have ever seen. Klaus Joel. There's an important spiritual reason why there are 8 billion plus other separate people on the planet. We all need each other to wake up. We are all so deeply asleep and lost in the matrix of our minds, buried in our fears of being lonely, that we need every possibility of help. There are many hidden layers to our ego and childhood conditioning, and not just one person is going to be able to dig through these layers to help us find our secret hiding spaces within. If we want to learn how to transcend feeling lonely, needy, or lacking someone in our lives, we must learn how to surrender to our spiritual selves and depend on this deeper heart to find deep eternal love. When we can live in this pure self-loving state, the lost, lonely, and desperate mind simply falls away. The mind automatically falls into an open heart and is immediately dissolved in the peace and energy of this love. When we find a way to open our hearts to feeling life in its raw, real form, we become exposed to a much deeper truth within our relationships. This is where we start to grow and evolve. When we can relax into our vulnerability, share it with others, we can open to that deeper source of love for ourselves. This is the great recipe for creating connection with others. Be vulnerable enough to share your pain with others and love yourself as you share your trauma without getting lost in the story. One of the greatest reasons to work on healing ourselves is so we can stay in a long-term, deep, intimate relationship in this life. It may take many years for our deepest vulnerabilities to feel safe enough to rise to the surface and become exposed. Yet when it does, you allow yourself to be penetrated with love on the deepest layers. With a loved one, you can dive beyond the extraordinary protection mechanisms of the ego. Intimate relationships are very deep and sacred connection with another soul. It takes tremendous honesty, integrity, vulnerability, and courage to dive deep with another being and create a space safe enough for its roots to grow. Once you discover this place of divine vulnerability and deep eternal love for yourself and stillness of mind, then you can find it with your partner. First with you. Only with you. Before you could ever connect with a partner. The most radical levels of trust, love, and truth can only be accessed when the heart is open and there is a deep feeling of peace inside. In this space, a deeper, sweeter aspect of life is found. We can easily create a divine feeling of connection with others. This awakens us to our fullest potentiality and power. In this sweet, healthy, open-hearted connection, we let down the walls of armor around our body and are able to merge with the heart of the other. The demand for permanence in every area of our existence is the cause of human misery. The demand for permanence in every area of our existence is the cause of human misery. There's no such thing as permanence at all. Krishnamurti. One of the great practical secrets you may discover to transcending the illusion of aloneness is activating the three main centers of the heart, belly, and sex center. Three centers as the body's holy trinity. When the breath is opening up to feeling an energetic thread of connection that is running through the heart, belly, and sex center, with each breath we get grounded in our body, rooted in our power, and capable to move into creating a healthy, interdependent, intimate relationship with another. Once you have aligned in yourself with this Holy Trinity, feeling the grounded connection of your heart, which is the heart chakra, belly, which is the sacral chakra, sexual energy inside your body. Your relationships are guaranteed to blossom. You will see it manifest over the next weeks, months, and years. The sacred Trinity, however, must first be rooted within yourself in order to have stable roots to bond with your partner without getting caught in their drama. When both of you and your intimate partner are established in the sacred connection, the Trinity must spread out into every single person in your community. This network creates the support that you and your relationship will need to endure all the many challenges ahead. The mind turned inwards is the self turned outwards. It becomes the ego and all the world. Ramana Maharishi. Finding the source of vulnerability, love, and stillness in your intimate relationships is very important, as it will give birth to a grounded state of self-realization. The self-realized state is what the purpose of life is all about. Waking up from our suffering together so we discover our true connection to love. This discovery of the Holy Trinity inside you, grounded within a relationship, allows space for a perfectly balanced, healthy, long-term relationship to grow, evolves, and flourishes for an entire lifetime. Think of your relationship as a practice ground, first with yourself, a sacred space to play with living in this Holy Trinity of consciousness. There are many relationships here. One is with your individuated egoic self, one with your beloved, and the final is with the great self. This is another Trinity to discover and the main enlightened stage for the play of consciousness, to perform and act out all the various roles. There is no final reaching of the self. If the self were to be reached, it would mean that the self is not here and now, and that it is yet to be obtained. What is got afresh will also be lost. Ramana Maharishi. So it's almost, you surrender and let the universe catch you. You move into enlightenment, which is a process of peeling back the many layers of the ego to experience your true radiant infinite self. This is all about us self-discovery. It's a process of opening to our innermost being, and as a result to the entire universe, reaching towards the center of you. You may find a spiritual cyclone, yet keep diving. Beyond that, there is a deep stillness. And the very essence of your being is where your true spiritual knowledge resides. This is the source of your reality and universe. As you continuously rest deeper into the quiet, peaceful, still center and the heart of your being, you will eventually awaken to the divine being you, all of us, truly are. The longer you can abide in this center, the faster you'll find yourself manifesting a rich life, full of depth, meaning, clarity, love, and abundant with bliss. Listen to the wind, it talks. Listen to the silence, it speaks. Listen to your heart, it knows. This is all about each of us deciding for ourselves to become self-realized. The self-realization is that you, number one, are the love you've been seeking. And once you discover that, once you love you, then to interact with others is 1,000 times smoother. Once you know you, without judgment, without harshness, without ridicule, in total forgiveness and surrender to the God that you are. This is the whole planet. This is every one of us. We are literally all one. All the gods in these bodies are one. They come from a collective consciousness. The one God, the one consciousness. And believe it or not, we all move as one. We all move as one. And we're all experiencing, pulling in experience after experience, creating experience after experience, and making and creating continuously. And we're all pieces of the one, the collective consciousness, of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it's really interesting because I've met so many people that they cannot forgive. It's one of the most powerful things that we can do is master the art of forgiveness. This is all about the Trinity and not getting to know who and what we are. If we carry a grudge against anybody, whether it's big or small, we're clinging to a heavy shield around our hearts. It's weighing us down and negatively impacting us on many levels. By continuing to be angry or upset with somebody or something else because they or it have wronged you, only hurts you in the long run. And we all know this, but it's interesting how so many don't practice. Like attracts like. And when we hold on to feelings, how someone has hurt us or done us wrong, we're anchoring our energy in the past and attracting another victim-like scenario in the future. If we don't learn how to forgive and let go of the pain that's been done, it doesn't allow us to be fully open, available, and alive, and present to this divine moment. Our being becomes tight, protected, and contracted when we cannot forgive people. The quicker we can learn to let go, the less time we spend in pain and suffering. Holding on to a grudge from the past with anyone or anything only hinders our ability to become a positive, open, loving being who is manifesting the life of our dreams. The word forgiveness is derived from the word to give. Forgiveness is a gift of freedom and healing. When we give it to another person, we actually are giving this to ourselves. The act of forgiving another may not free the other person if they do not accept it, yet it will definitely liberate your energy. Even if the other person holds onto the past grudge all the way to their grave, which many of us have done, you can still forgive them for not knowing how. Our job is simply to let the past go and trust that everything is always in perfect divine order. The universe never makes mistakes, ever. Every act of harm unleashed is pure stimulation for our soul's awakening. The pain makes us wake up, recalibrate our lives, and adjust our sails towards a bigger freedom. The judgments we tend to inflict upon ourselves force us to love ourselves even deeper. The wound inside us creates a womb where new life can be formed. We must then choose to give birth to something inside us that is more loving, healing, and creative. We must choose also to forgive ourselves for anything that is less than love. When we do forgive ourselves, we instantly feel a great lightness that opens our chest and spreads all throughout our bodies. It is a powerful path to healing that is always available to choose in every moment of our lives. Every day we have the option to let go of our pride and let in the love, or hold on tighter and be right about something unfair or wrong. If we want to become a more sensitive, humble, and deeply loving human being, we must learn the response of forgiveness and compassion. Softening our ego is perhaps the most empowering and enlightening action we can do, as it puts us directly in contact with our souls. If we are ready to experience the amazing power of forgiveness today, follow these forgiveness steps. Recognize your attachment to your story. When you hold on to a grudge, you are actually holding on to the story about what happened along with heavy feelings attached to your story. When you fully feel those heavy feelings that arise when you think about your story, you then can move through them and underneath them. Be curious about what is there underneath your feelings, as it will be something you never thought of before. Notice how you played your part in the drama and take responsibility for the role you stepped into. When you understand what the payoff of benefit you receive by playing this role, no matter how horrible it was, you can then let go of the pattern completely and release those repressed feelings. When someone mistreats or hurts us, we may either express this pain or repress it. If we were taught to repress our feelings, put on a brave face, go on with our lives, we will have many heavy feelings inside of us rotting away at our core. All repressed feelings fester deep inside of us, cause us to continue to carry a burden about life, relationships, people, and the world. The first step in forgiving is letting go of these heavy feelings, allowing them to turn into lighter feelings. There are many techniques that can help us release the pent-up emotions from the past. One simple way you can do this on your own is emotional release journaling. Write. People don't write much anymore. Just write about the past event without censoring it. Write from your most emotional place. Keep writing until you have emptied everything out. Do not read it once you have finished. Wait a few days or weeks before you read it. You can burn what you have journaled and proclaim out loud, I let this go. If your repressed emotions are very strong or feel overwhelming, it may be best to get the support of someone to assist you. Continuously choose forgiveness. In every moment, you have the opportunity, all of us do, to choose forgiveness. Once we release that, holding on to the past only harms us. Once we release that, holding on to the past only harms us. We can consciously choose to let it go instead of returning to resentment. Choosing forgiveness is a constant process. It isn't intermittent. It isn't once in a while. This means that we always choose to feel feelings of lightness, freedom, and healing from the past event. Once we have decided to forgive someone, visualize the person is in front of you and say it out loud to them, I forgive you completely for what happened. I love you and thank you for the lesson. Whether they understand or not, please forgive them for what they have done. Notice how it feels just reading that proclamation in your body. By stating this message out loud, you create an instant energetic shift in your body. The person can be on the phone, in the room, or simply there in your mind. If you do this in your mind, the secret is that it must feel real to you. You will be amazed on how this declaration starts opening up your entire world in ways you never dreamed were possible. You'll soon see how it sparks the manifestation of more positive and desired experiences in your life. So if you will, Go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies. Relax our bodies. Head to toe, inside and out. Now, once you understand that you are not the body, genuinely, you're not the body, you're not making that up. The ego mind will say you're making it up, and the mind will come at you and say this is not possible. You are the body. Say, that's the conflict that we all face. And it depends. Most of the time the ego mind wins because we really don't know who and what we are until we go within and we start to begin to discover it. So when you look at the body, you understand, and you can understand a sponge, right? Or a magnet. And as we enter these bodies as heaven on earth, and we're little babies, a little baby body, and then we absorb everything. And believe it or not, we put all of that information in the subconscious mind. We accumulate it, constantly accumulating. And a lot of it's unconscious. Some of it's conscious. But as the body grows, soul in the body, it picks up all of these thoughts and all of these suggestions and all of this information that isn't yours. It never was. It's everybody else's. So we get to a certain point, and then we have character and personality in the body, and then the ego mind takes over. Once you get character and personality, the ego mind is front and center. The ego mind is controlling you. And this is about understanding that, so that you know that, man, I've absorbed a lot of thoughts from my parents and grandparents and, brothers and sisters and friends and other relatives and strangers and everything. My boss, whatever. I've accumulated a lot of things. First, to become aware, and then second is to be able to identify those thoughts that aren't yours. This isn't my thought. I don't have any use for it. When you start to do this, you start to filter and siphon off all of this heaviness, and you begin to release the body stress by letting go, not being attached, and not having expectations about yourself or anyone else or anything. And then the body releases, lets it go, head to toe. All the stress, anxiety, worry, fear, envy, greed, anger, hate, all of it. Not necessarily just in this life. Some of us carry it through several lifetimes into this life. So you'll feel your body drop that. All of that, anxiety, stress, and fear, and worry, it'll just fade out. And your heart mind is front and center. And you, the God, is with you 24/7, always, forever. So once that body does that, once the body you're in relaxes, it dumps all that stuff off. And it's light, and it's not in the mind, and it's not in the ego, it's not thinking, it's not worrying, stressing, and fearing. It is just being. That's the now. That's the now. The now is all we have or will ever have. The breath is the now. It is the moment to moment of our existence in these bodies experiencing this life. We all have memories, and we all reminisce with those memories, and we enjoy a lot of them. And some of them we just visit because we have these experiences, so they help us in the now to say, okay, well, I know that didn't work for me, so I'm not going to do it that way. But we don't stay there. You don't spend your whole life in the library pulling books off the shelf about what you experienced years and years and years previous to your current moment in the now. Yeah, you review and you move forward. That's it. But some of us they'll go in the past and they'll live in the past. It doesn't mean that they're consciously aware of it, but they live in the past. For some reason, they hold on to the past. They either fear the now or the future that doesn't exist. It's amazing. And so, you look at the past as like an elephant graveyard, a cemetery, dead, just dank, nothing alive. And then those people will take that past, bring it into the future that doesn't exist, create that future from that past, and relive that past and that future. Well, a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. And some of us go in the future. I don't think any of us are exempt from any of it. You know, we go into the future, but the future isn't there because we haven't created it yet through the now. So we're always asked, that's why we're always asking ourselves, why isn't this happening for me? Why has this happened? You know, when am I going to meet the right person? When am I going to get the right income? When am I going to have enough money? When am I going to be healthy enough? When am I going to be happy enough to do this, this, or this? But a lot of us don't stay there. It's just like, the past. We reminisce. We go into the future, we wonder. We don't wander, we wonder. We dream, which is all good because that's how we manifest. And we express our imagination that is limitless. Whatever you can imagine, you're going to create, not just all the time. Unless you block it as you create. Try it as you create it, then you block it by the doubt and the guilt and the unworthiness and so on and so forth. And a lot of the times we have, just look at three stepping stones, right? You've got the past, and then in the center is the now, and then you got the left, the past, the center, the now, and the right, the future. Most of us we wander into the past or the future, and we kind of ignore the now. Most of us are never in the now, ever, and we don't know it. But that's what quiets the body. That's what stills the mind and the ego by being in the now. That's what ends the relentless chatter of tens of millions of programmed thoughts that are just passing by in the sky like clouds. So once we begin to discover that this is all a show, this material world, this physical world, it's all a show. It's a movie. And a lot of us get stuck in it. Have you ever had a dream where you thought, sure, that dream was real? I mean, you really thought. There's times where you have dreams and you go, I know this is a dream. But there's other times where the dream is so real that you could absolutely swear that it was real. And where you even wake up. You wake up and you think you're not in the dream, but you're in the dream and when you wake up. Interesting. A lot of us have had those experiences. That's kind of like the material physical world. It's a dream. And most of them never wake up out of the dream to discover who and what they are. It is our restlessness that causes chaos. It is our restlessness that causes chaos. So now, you could be in the now, right? But none of us are exempt from this either. You could be focused on something right in the moment, and then all of a sudden, you're wandering off with other thoughts. And it's absolutely crucial for all of us to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves, and to stay in the deepest of deepest, deepest eternal gratitude 24/7. So this is good when we identify without judgment. You just say, okay, so I've wandered off into these thoughts. I know these thoughts aren't mine. Not a big deal. I'll focus on my breath, and I'll be in the now. And every time you focus on your breath, you listen to your breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth, you're in the now. You're always in the now when you do that. That's nifty, because we can always, whenever we wander, we can come right back into the now through concentrating on our breath, listening to our breath. The breath is very powerful. The soul comes in, energizes the body. The lungs begin to function. Everything functions. And the breath sustains the body. We all know if we didn't have the breath, we couldn't be in the body. None of us could. There's no way. So it is divine positive energy. The soul, the heaven, the body, the earth. We're consciously aware to a certain extent. Every step we take on this planet, we're creating paradise. And every step in addition to that, we are spreading our light. The God force, love, light, energy that's in each and every one of us, of what we truly are. And this is flooding the planet constantly. This also increases vibrational frequency across the planet of the smallest particle of life, the highest spring value in the universe. So we're creating a God planet paradise that is so brilliant and bright, with over 8 billion gods shining their light outward, that there's nothing in this universe that can come close to the brightness of it. There just isn't. We know that once you discover that you are the God, you are the pure consciousness, and that you funnel through the body you're in, and you use these energy conduits, these energy vortexes, which are etheric, as you are, as the God that you are, which is spiritual, not physical, and you flow through that body. And unbeknownst to many of us, we're connected to everything in that body. We're the electric energy that runs that body. We are in every cell. We are in every construct, every organ, every tissue, every breath, everything. Hair follicle. We are just absolutely through the entire body. And we use these energy vortexes, these chakras, which we go with 7. Some will say there's less. Some will say there's more. But basically the 7 from the tailbone to the top of the head. And we're an energy fountain. So the energy comes up over the head, comes right back down through the root chakra, back up through the sacral, solar plexus, heart, and back up to the crown. And it's perpetual motion. This is why we talk about that we are the power of healing. It's just that the majority of us don't even know that. We're too stuck in the material physical world. So remember that. We always talk about getting to know the body. The point is that God already knows everything there is to know about that body and then some. It's just that you don't. All your emotions, everything. So we have just remember everything is a reflection to remind you of what you really are. So we have parts of ourselves. And you're not looking at others' bodies. You're looking at the God within them. See, that's the difference. Many of us look at the body. We don't look at the God within. That's where the judgment comes, the ridicule, the lack of confidence, the lack of self-esteem. It all comes from the physicality of this world, hence the body. So these parts of us, because we're one, but the parts of us, some of them are asleep. I mean, just totally out. Others are awake to a certain extent. The reason I say to a certain extent, because if we were fully awake, we wouldn't have egos and we wouldn't have minds controlling us. We wouldn't have that battle constantly. And if we knew who and what we were, we wouldn't be in these bodies anymore, because we're in them to discover who and what we are. So the parts, obviously, that we reach out to, it's not like the ones that are asleep, we're going to dump them off somewhere. We can't. They're part of us. They'll always be with us. It's just that they won't be in the meditation because they won't hear. They'll be totally oblivious. So this is all of the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever. This includes the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua. It includes all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath her. It includes all of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. And then all the light energy beings on this planet. And then all the galactics and off-worlders and celestials. And this number is in the Googleplexes. So you have trillions of Googleplexes. One Googleplex fills this universe with not even an inch of sacred space to spare. So you can kind of figure out or understand the number, the massive numbers. Like the archangels. They vibrate at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them. But we interact with them all the time. We meet with them, we talk with them, we pass them by. And they have the same message, it's just delivered in many ways. And the message is, isn't it magna glorious, absolutely stupendous, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? And that is bliss. Now, they can surround any one of us at any time by tens of thousands because of their vibrational frequency. They can house a large number in a small area. Ascended masters, they've mastered ascending into physical form and out of physical form. And they hold pure consciousness, God's form. We have ascended into body, mastering physical form, creating our experiences to perfect our creation. And all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, beneath earth, and all the galactics, celestials, off-worlders. We're only familiar with this mention of them, but over 1,000 go through this solar system every day, and trillions throughout the universes every day. The Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the felines, Zeta Reticuli, the Nords, the Greys, the Draco, the Reptilian, the Golden Pyramid, the Avian, many, many, many more. Now, they have been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And our loved ones in the billions. And only those out of all the light energy beings who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude and peace, can be with us in this meditation. And the forming of this circle of light and the complete liberation of this planet. And in the Guga plexus, we are all one, arm in arm, hand in hand, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we are all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy, is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify. And it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now. This circle of light is so brilliant and bright that it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1 billion trillion suns to even come close to its brightness. And this is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest eternal love. And it is flooding this planet. It pulses inward, outward, 360 degrees spherically. It's flooding all life, the highest supreme value in the universe is 24/7. All of us. High vibrational frequency. High, very high. So we begin to ascend above the planet. As we do, we come into contact with this massive ocean of glitter. It's everywhere. It's reflecting, dashing lights, multicolored, Gugaplexes of lights everywhere, flashing back and forth. And we look at the reflective point, and we discover these are little microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. So we enter them, and we discover that all of us gathered in this meditation, all the light energy beings, consciously aware, are teaching each other, whether consciously or unconsciously. We're learning all the time. You could be 10,000 years old, you're still going to be learning. All the time. Whoever comes into your life, whether for a second or years, is either teaching you or learning from you or both, as you are with them. This is constant. This is our endless journey. This is part of the assistance because we all interact, because we're all one. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met by the white fire. This is a column of light that reminds us all that we created, that we are imbued head to toe, inside and out, with a white fire armor, way beyond anything earthly. And this emanates from the God Force Love Light energy within each and every single one of us. And nothing can harm us, ever. No demon possessions, no attachments, no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. They know they can't sustain near such a high vibrational frequency of pure, deep, eternal love, peace, and gratitude. They'll vaporize. They stay away. Yet, only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, greed, anger, stress, fear, worry, anxiety, envy, hurry, greed, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Now, then demon possession, possibility, attachment, lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, all kinds of ruckuses. And we're immediately met with a double column of light that we created to remind us all. The first is the purple transmuting flame. We created this to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. Right behind that is the violet ray. This is a column of light that reminds us all that we can bring in the violet ray. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor and restoring our harmony of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest. Eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the rain and the rainbows. We are the mountains. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the soils, the trees, the forest, the sky, the clouds. We are everything, and everything is us. So the next time you see a sunset, or a sunrise, or a rainbow, or an ocean view, it is you. You're the beauty. You're the grandeur. You're the divinity, the majesty. It is you. It is all of us. It always has been. It always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. If you see a sunset and you say, oh, isn't that beautiful, then you've missed the understanding that it's you. It's not out there. It's the God that you are. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above them. The reason we do that is because we can if we're carrying physical form. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We created this tower. It's larger than the solar system. In the center of the column is this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is this golden white ball of light. And it's surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light. And so the ball and all of those rings are sending us wave after wave of electric particles, energy, that just absorb and penetrate and saturate us. And the golden white ball of light is the highest of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. Then comes the highest and the purest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And then comes the highest and deepest and purest of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal peace. And then well-being. And gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, tranquility, benevolence, great abundance, great prosperity, joy, happiness, bliss, endless. It never ends. And we discover that it is a reflection of the gods within each and every single one of us. We are all of this. It is us and we are it. At the top of the column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, 24/7 as it's doing, flooding us all, head to toe, inside and out, nonstop. All life, the highest supreme value in the universes. All brothers and sisters, everything, constantly. We are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We then see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We created this sphere over 3.5 years ago. It holds well over 1,500 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Every day, hundreds of millions on and off world, over 1 billion, and continually expanding and growing. All with the highest intent, all through the heart-mind, through the gods that we all are, all one, flooding this planet with all of that intent. No ego, no mind, God, love, light, energy. Feel it through the heart-mind. You feel the vibration. You can feel the frequency because you are it. That's why this sphere can be seen, heard, and felt in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is why it continues to intensify. This is why it continues to expand. If we could all only keep quiet, clear of memories and expectations, we would be able to discern the beautiful pattern of events. It is our restlessness that causes chaos. This is Gadada Mirage. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. How can we distinguish between the ego and our true nature? Either the ego is there, then the true nature is not known, or the true nature is known, then there is no ego left. You cannot have both. Hence, we cannot make any distinction. We cannot distinguish them. They can't both be present together. Only one can be present. Right now, whatever we are is the ego. So there's no reason to be worried about distinguishing. If there was no ego, the question would not have arisen at all. Self-nature knows no questions. Self-nature is ecstasy, not a problem. Take this for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, into the following morning, and we will return here Monday, August 30th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation calls.